The wind howled. It carried a warning. Never touch the doll. The old folks whispered about it, a relic of darkness, a bringer of sorrow. Its eyes, they said, watched. They waited. But children, drawn to the forbidden, never listened. They never do. This is the story of the doll, and the village it cursed. Hollow Creek, a forgotten place nestled deep within a valley, shrouded in mist and silence. The villagers kept to themselves. They knew the secrets the valley held. Life was simple, hard work, close families. They lived and died under the watchful eyes of the mountains, until the doll arrived. Then everything changed. Old Man Hemlock found it, washed up by the river, a porcelain doll, dressed in white lace. Its eyes, a piercing blue, seemed to follow you. He brought it back to the village. A curiosity, a foolish mistake. He placed it in the window, facing the town square. The watching had begun. Things began subtly. Milk curdled overnight, crops withered in the fields, whispers of bad luck spread like wildfire. People became uneasy. Then the accident started, a broken leg, a sudden illness, a fire that consumed the miller's house. The villagers started to talk. The doll, they said, it's the doll. Section 5. Whispers turned to screams. Young Timmy Barnes. He touched the doll. Timmy Barnes was a curious and adventurous boy, always eager to explore the unknown. The doll with its eerie presence had been the talk of the village for weeks. Whispers of its mysterious origins and the strange occurrences surrounding it had spread like wildfire. The children, intrigued and frightened, often gathered around the window where the doll was displayed, daring each other to get closer. Dared by the other children. The children, in their youthful bravado, would often challenge one another to touch the doll, each one trying to prove their courage. Timmy, never one to back down from a dare, accepted the challenge without hesitation. His friends watched with bated breath as he approached the doll, their whispers growing louder with anticipation. He laughed as he did it. With a mischievous grin, Timmy reached out and touched the doll. His laughter echoed through the room, a sound that was both defiant and carefree. For a moment it seemed like just another harmless prank, a story to tell and laugh about later. But the atmosphere in the room shifted, and an uneasy silence fell over the children, but his laughter died in his throat. That night, he disappeared. The villagers searched. Days turned into weeks. No sign of Timmy. Fear turned to terror. As night fell, Timmy's laughter was replaced by an eerie silence. When he didn't return home, his parents grew worried. The entire village was soon engulfed in a frantic search. Lanterns flickered in the darkness as villagers called out his name, their voices tinged with desperation. Days turned into weeks, and the hope of finding Timmy began to fade. The once lively village was now shrouded in a pall of fear and sorrow. Every corner, every shadow seemed to whisper his name, but there was no sign of the boy. The doll's eyes seemed to gleam with a malevolent light. The doll, once just a curious object, now seemed to hold a sinister presence. Its eyes, which had always seemed lifeless, now glowed with an unsettling light. The villagers, once skeptical of the old legends, now whispered of curses and dark magic. The doll was moved to a secure location, but its malevolent aura seemed to permeate the very air. The village, once filled with laughter and joy, was now a place of hushed whispers and fearful glances. The story of Timmy Barnes and the cursed doll became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers that lurk in the shadows. Section 6. The Ritual. The village elder, a wizened woman named Agnes, knew the truth. She had lived in the village for many years, witnessing the ebb and flow of life, the changing seasons and the occasional strange occurrences that seemed to defy explanation. Her eyes, though clouded with age, held a sharpness that spoke of wisdom and experience. Agnes had always been the keeper of the village's secrets, the one people turned to when they needed guidance, or when something inexplicable happened. She had seen such things before. The signs were unmistakable. The strange noises at night, the sudden drop in temperature, and the feeling of being watched. These were all indicators that something was amiss. Agnes had read about such phenomena in the ancient texts she kept hidden in her small, dimly lit cottage. These texts spoke of dark forces and malevolent entities that could cross over into the world of the living if certain conditions were met. The doll was not a toy. It was a vessel, a conduit for something far more sinister. It had been crafted with dark intentions, imbued with a malevolent spirit that sought to wreak havoc on the village. The doll's eyes seemed to follow you, its expression changing ever so slightly when you weren't looking. It was as if the doll had a life of its own, a dark and twisted life that fed on fear and despair, a conduit to something dark. She gathered the villagers, a desperate plan formed. Agnes knew that they had to act quickly. The longer the doll remained in the village, the stronger its influence would become. She called a meeting in the village square where the villagers gathered around a roaring fire. The flickering flames cast eerie shadows on their faces, reflecting the fear and uncertainty that gripped their hearts. Agnes spoke of the ancient ritual that could banish the doll and the dark force it harbored. They would perform a ritual. Banish the doll. The ritual was complex and dangerous, requiring precise timing and unwavering focus. The villagers formed a circle, each holding a torch that symbolized their collective will to fight the darkness. Agnes stood at the center, chanting incantations from the ancient texts. The air grew thick with tension as the ritual progressed, the flames of the torches flickering wildly as if reacting to an unseen force. Send it back to the abyss from whence it came. With a final powerful incantation, Agnes directed the villagers to throw the doll into a dark portal that had opened up in the ground. The portal seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, its edges crackling with dark lightning. As the doll was cast into the abyss, a chilling scream echoed through the village, and the portal closed with a thunderous roar. The villagers stood in stunned silence, the weight of what they had just done sinking in. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, but they knew that the memory of this night would haunt them for years to come. Section 7. The Price of Curiosity. The ritual was long and dangerous. They gathered in the town square, chanting ancient words, Agnes leading the way. The air grew heavy, the wind moaned. Suddenly the doll's eyes flared. A cold wind swept through the village, extinguishing the torches, throwing the villagers into darkness. Panic erupted. Section 8. Escape from Hollow Creek. Hollow Creek was once a thriving village, nestled deep within a dense forest. The villagers lived in harmony, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of nature. But one fateful night, everything changed. A mysterious doll appeared at the village square, its eyes gleaming with an eerie light. No one knew where it came from, but its presence was undeniable. The children were the first to notice, drawn to its strange allure. They played with it, unaware of the dark power it held. As the days passed, the doll's influence grew stronger. Strange occurrences began to plague the village. Crops withered, animals disappeared, and an unsettling silence fell over Hollow Creek. The villagers grew fearful, whispering about the doll's curse. Agnes, a young girl with a curious spirit, was particularly fascinated by the doll. She spent hours with it, oblivious to the danger. Her parents warned her, but she couldn't resist its pull. One stormy night, the village was thrown into chaos. The doll's eyes glowed brighter than ever, casting an ominous light over Hollow Creek. The ground trembled, and a chilling wind swept through the village. The villagers tried to flee, but it was too late. The darkness consumed everything in its path. When the chaos subsided, the doll was gone. So was Agnes, and half the village, swallowed by the darkness. The survivors fled. They ran through the forest, their hearts pounding with fear. The once familiar paths now seemed twisted and foreign. The trees loomed overhead, their branches like skeletal hands reaching out to grab them. The survivors didn't stop until they reached the edge of the forest. They looked back, but Hollow Creek was no longer visible. It was as if the village had been erased from existence. Exhausted and terrified, they vowed never to return, leaving Hollow Creek to its fate. The village was left to decay, its once vibrant streets now empty and silent. Nature began to reclaim the land, vines creeping over the buildings, and animals cautiously returning. But the memory of that night lingered, a dark shadow over the village. The few who dared to venture close spoke of an eerie presence, a feeling of being watched. They saw glimpses of a young girl, her eyes glowing with the same eerie light as the doll. Hollow Creek had become a place of legend, a ghost town shrouded in mystery and fear. The village stands empty to this day, a ghost town. The buildings, once filled with life and laughter, now stand as silent sentinels. The wind whispers through the empty streets, carrying with it the echoes of the past. The village is a stark reminder of the power of the unknown, a testament to the dangers that lurk in the shadows. Those who remember the tale of Hollow Creek speak of it in hushed tones. a cautionary tale passed down through generations, a testament to the doll's power. The doll, with its eerie eyes and mysterious origins, had left an indelible mark on the village. It was a symbol of the unknown, a reminder of the thin veil between our world and the darkness that lies beyond. The villagers who survived never forgot the terror they experienced. They spoke of the doll with a mixture of fear and reverence, warning others to stay away from Hollow Creek. The doll had become a legend, its story woven into the fabric of the village's history, a warning to those who listen. The tale of Hollow Creek serves as a stark reminder of the dangers that can arise from the unknown. It is a warning to those who seek to uncover the mysteries of the world, a cautionary tale of curiosity and its consequences. The villagers who survived that night carry the weight of their experience, their lives forever changed by the events that transpired. They share their story with a sense of duty, hoping to prevent others from suffering the same fate. Some things are best left untouched. The forest surrounding Hollow Creek remains a place of mystery and fear. The trees, once a source of life and sustenance, now stand as silent guardians of the village's dark secret. The paths that once led to Hollow Creek are overgrown and forgotten, a testament to the passage of time. The villagers who survived have moved on, but the memory of that night remains. It is a reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved and some places are best left undisturbed. Section 9. The Final Gaze. They say on a still night, if you listen closely you can hear it, a faint humming, coming from the valley, and if you're very brave or very foolish, you might venture back to Hollow Creek and see the doll, sitting in the window of an abandoned house, its blue eyes watching, waiting.